Welcome back. Today, we're stepping into a story that changed the world forever. A story of power, fear, and rivalry between two superpowers, the United States and Russia. This is not just history. This is a battle that still shapes our future. 1. Introduction. Two giants, one long rivalry. The relationship between the United States and Russia is one of the most important and complex rivalries in modern history. It is not just about two countries, it's about two systems, two ideologies, and two visions for global power. On one side, the United States represents democracy, capitalism, and global influence. On the other, Russia, especially during the Soviet era, represented communism, centralized power, and strategic control. This relationship has gone through phases. Cooperation, World War II, extreme rivalry, Cold War, temporary friendship, 1990s, renewed tension, 2000s present. World War II, allies against a common enemy. During World War II, the U.S. and the Soviet Union were allies. The U.S. fought from the West. The Soviet Union fought Joseph Stalin's brutal war on the Eastern Front. Together, they defeated Adolf Hitler. But this alliance was based on necessity, not trust. Hidden tension. The U.S. feared communism. The USSR feared Western capitalism. Even before the war ended, both sides were already preparing for rivalry. The Cold War begins, 1947 to 1991. After WW II, the world split into two camps. USA, leader of capitalist nations, USSR, leader of communist nations. This period is called the Cold War. Key features: no direct war between USA and USSR, constant tension, fear, and competition. Ideological war. Capitalism versus communism. This wasn't just about power, it was about ideas. USA belief, free markets, democracy, individual freedom. Soviet belief, state control, equality, in theory. One-party rule. The U.S. believed communism was dangerous and tried to stop it globally. Nuclear arms race, fear of destruction. Both nations built nuclear weapons. Key event: Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings showed the power of nuclear weapons. USA built hydrogen bombs, USSR matched them. Result: mutually assured destruction. MAD. If one attacked, both would be destroyed. Impact on USA: constant fear, massive defense spending, public anxiety. Proxy wars, fighting without direct war. Instead of fighting directly, they fought through other countries. Examples: Korean War, USA supported South Korea, USSR supported North Korea. Vietnam War, USA supported South Vietnam, USSR supported North Vietnam. This war showed a major struggle for the USA. How the USA suffered: lost thousands of soldiers, faced global criticism, domestic protests increased. This was a major blow to U.S. confidence. Cuban Missile Crisis, the closest to nuclear war. In 1962, USSR placed missiles in Cuba. Event: Cuban Missile Crisis. The U.S. under John F. Kennedy reacted swiftly. This was a pivotal moment in the ideological and nuclear confrontation. Kennedy confronted the USSR. For 13 days, the world stood on the edge of nuclear war. Outcome: USSR removed missiles. USA secretly removed missiles from Turkey. Impact: USA avoided disaster, but realized how vulnerable it was. Space race, competition beyond Earth. The US and USSR competed in space. USSR achievements: first satellite, Sputnik; first human, Yuri Gagarin. USA response: Apollo 11 moon landing. USA eventually won by landing on the moon, but early Soviet success shocked the U.S. Economic pressure and Soviet collapse. By the 1980s, USSR economy weakened. USA economy remained strong. Leader: Mikhail Gorbachev introduced reforms. Finally, dissolution of the Soviet Union. Cold War ended. USA position became the world's only superpower. 1990s, temporary friendship. After USSR collapse, Russia was weak. USA tried to help. Leader, Boris Yeltsin. Relationship improved. Trade increased. Cooperation grew. But problems remained. NATO expansion angered Russia. Rise of Vladimir Putin. In 2000, Vladimir Putin came to power. He wanted strong Russia, less US influence. Tensions started rising again. Modern conflicts and tensions. Ukraine crisis. Annexation of Crimea. Russia-Ukraine war. USA supported Ukraine, imposed sanctions on Russia. Russia accused USA of interference. Cyber warfare and modern rivalry. New battlefield, cyber attacks, election interference. USA accused Russia of hacking, spreading misinformation. How the USA suffered. What happened to the USA? Even though the USA is powerful, it faced many challenges. 1. Vietnam War failure, military defeat, loss of global image. 2. Economic burden, huge military spending. 3. Constant fear, nuclear war anxiety. 4. Political division, Cold War paranoia affected society. 5. Modern challenges, cyber threats, loss of uncontested global dominance. 15. Current situation, 2020s. Today, relationship is tense, not a direct war, but strong rivalry. Key issues, Ukraine, NATO expansion, cyber warfare, global influence. Conclusion. The USA versus Russia relationship is not just a rivalry, it's a story of power, fear, ideology, and survival. The USA did not collapse or get destroyed, but it faced wars, fear, economic pressure, strategic challenges. In the end, USA remained strong, but learned that global dominance comes with constant struggle. NATO expansion, the turning point of tension. After the dissolution of the Soviet Union, the United States believed it had won the Cold War. So what did it do next? It expanded NATO eastward. Countries that were once under Soviet influence, like Poland, Hungary, and others, joined NATO. Why this angered Russia? Russia saw NATO as a military threat. It felt surrounded by U.S. influence. USA perspective. We are spreading democracy and stability. Russia perspective. You are encroaching on our territory. This misunderstanding became a major root of modern conflict. The War on Terror, a shift in focus. After the September 11 attacks, the U.S. shifted focus. Instead of Russia, the USA focused on terrorism, Middle East wars, Afghanistan, Iraq. Russia was no longer the main enemy for a while. How this affected USA? Massive spending, trillions of dollars. Military stretched thin, global criticism increased. This gave Russia time to rebuild power quietly. Russia's comeback under Putin. Under Vladimir Putin, Russia slowly regained strength. Key moves: strengthened military, controlled media, increased nationalism. 2008, war with Georgia. Signal to the world, Russia is back. USA's global image takes a hit. During the 2000s, Iraq war controversies, human rights criticisms, economic crisis. Key event, 2008 global financial crisis. Impact on USA. Economy weakened. Trust in U.S. leadership declined. Domestic unemployment increased. Meanwhile, Russia used this moment to push its influence. The Ukraine crisis, 2014. Major clash returns. In 2014, event annexation of Crimea. Russia took Crimea from Ukraine. USA reaction, economic sanctions, political pressure. Russia's message, we will protect our interests, no matter what. This was a clear turning point back to Cold War-style tension. Information warfare, a new battlefield. Unlike the Cold War, modern conflict includes cyber and information warfare. USA accused Russia of interfering in elections, spreading fake news, cyber attacks. This created a new kind of fear, not bombs, but information manipulation. USA's challenge: hard-to-prove attacks, hard to defend democracy digitally. Syria conflict, opposite sides again. In the Syrian war, USA supported rebel groups. Russia supported Bashar al-Assad. Both countries were again on opposite sides of a war, but indirectly. This showed the rivalry never truly ended, it just changed form. The 2022 Ukraine War. Full tension returns. Event: Russia-Ukraine War. Russia launched a full invasion of Ukraine. USA response: massive military aid to Ukraine. Economic sanctions on Russia. Strengthen NATO alliances. How the USA is struggling today. Even now, the USA faces serious challenges. 1. Economic pressure. Supporting Ukraine costs billions. Inflation issues at home. 2. Military limitations. Cannot directly fight Russia. Nuclear risk. 3. Global competition. Not just Russia, also rising powers like China. 4. Political division inside USA. Internal disagreements weaken global strategy. Nuclear threat still exists. Both countries still have massive nuclear arsenals. The fear of nuclear war never disappeared. Even today, tensions can escalate quickly. One mistake could be catastrophic. Is this a new Cold War? Many experts say, yes, this is a new Cold War. Similarities: ideological differences, proxy conflicts, military buildup. Differences: cyber warfare, economic interdependence, more global players. Final analysis: who is winning? It's not a simple win-lose situation. USA strengths: strong economy, global alliances, advanced technology. USA weaknesses: internal division, war fatigue, economic burden. Russia strengths: military power, strategic aggression, energy resources. Russia weaknesses: sanctions, smaller economy, isolation. The reality: the USA did not collapse, but it has been challenged, pressured, tested repeatedly. From Vietnam to Ukraine, the USA has faced military setbacks, economic strain, strategic competition. Conclusion: powerful USA-style ending. The story of USA versus Russia is not about destruction. It's about endurance. Two giants, two visions, one long struggle for influence. The United States has stumbled, but never fallen. Russia has weakened, but never disappeared. Part 3. The Hidden War. The Shadow War. CIA versus KGB. During the Cold War, the real fight wasn't always on battlefields, it was in the shadows. Two powerful intelligence agencies led this secret war. Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, KGB. What they did? Spying on each other, stealing secrets, influencing governments, assassinations in some cases. This was a silent war, but extremely dangerous. Espionage stories that shocked the USA. Case 1. The Rosenberg Spy Case. Julius Rosenberg and Ethel Rosenberg were accused of giving nuclear secrets to the Soviet Union. This shocked the USA. Impact: Americans realize the enemy is inside too. Fear spread across society. McCarthy era, fear inside America. During the 1950s, Joseph McCarthy led a campaign against suspected communists. What happened? People were accused without proof. Careers were destroyed. Fear dominated society. This showed how the Cold War affected everyday Americans. USA's struggle: freedom versus fear, democracy versus paranoia. Propaganda war, controlling minds. Both sides used propaganda. USA promoted freedom and democracy, showed capitalism as superior. USSR promoted equality and anti-imperialism, criticized U.S. racism and inequality. Space race pressure: USA feels inferior. When the USSR launched Sputnik. Event: Sputnik launch. RWSA was shocked. Why it hurt? Americans feared they were falling behind. Education system was criticized. Government rushed to improve science programs. This moment made the USA feel vulnerable. Arms race cost, economic pressure on USA. The arms race forced the USA to spend huge amounts on defense. Effects: billions spent on nuclear weapons, less focus on domestic issues, increased national debt. Even a superpower like the USA felt the pressure. Soviet influence expands. During the Cold War, USSR expanded influence in Eastern Europe, Africa, Asia. USA had to respond everywhere. Problem for USA: too many conflicts at once, difficult to maintain control globally. Afghanistan War, the Soviet-Vietnam event, Soviet-Afghan War. USA supported Afghan fighters against the Soviet Union. This weakened the USSR, but also created long-term instability, later contributed to global terrorism issues. Even USA's victory had consequences. The fall of the Berlin Wall. Event: fall of the Berlin Wall. Symbol of Cold War ending. USA reaction. Celebrated as victory of democracy. But reality. Transition created instability in Europe. Russia felt humiliated. This humiliation later fueled future conflict. Russia's perspective. A key understanding. To fully understand the relationship, you must see Russia's view. Russia felt surrounded by NATO, disrespected after Cold War, ignored by the West. This is why leaders like Vladimir Putin act aggressively. USA's strategic mistakes. Let's be honest, USA made mistakes too. 1. Overconfidence after Cold War, thought rivalry was over. 2. Ignoring Russia's concerns, NATO expansion without strong compromise. 3. Middle East wars, distracted from Russia's rise. These mistakes allowed Russia to recover power. Energy politics, Russia's hidden power. Russia is one of the world's largest energy suppliers. Key point: Europe depends on Russian gas. This gives Russia leverage. USA challenge: cannot fully isolate Russia economically. Modern military balance. USA, advanced technology, global bases, strong Navy and Air Force. Russia, powerful nuclear weapons, strong land forces, hypersonic missile development. Both are dangerous in different ways. Psychological warfare. Today, war is also about perception. Russia uses media influence, online propaganda. USA uses diplomacy, global alliances. Battle is now in people's minds. The fear factor. Even today, one wrong move, global crisis. One misunderstanding, escalation. This constant tension affects global stability. What if war happens? A direct war between USA and Russia would be catastrophic, because both have nuclear weapons. Global destruction would follow. That's why they avoid direct conflict. Lessons from the rivalry. For USA, power requires responsibility. Overconfidence can be dangerous. For Russia, isolation leads to aggression. Strength comes with economic stability. The bigger picture. This rivalry is not just about two countries. It affects global politics, economy, security, technology. Final thought, deep USA style. This is not a simple story of heroes and villains. It's a story of fear, power, survival, pride. The United States was tested again and again. Sometimes it won, sometimes it struggled, but it adapted. Russia fell, but rose again. The rise of a new world order. After decades of rivalry, the world is no longer just about two superpowers. Today, the global stage includes China rising rapidly, European Union gaining influence, regional powers becoming stronger. This means the USA versus Russia rivalry is now part of a larger global competition. USA versus Russia versus China, a new triangle. The biggest shift today is the emergence of China. USA wants to maintain global leadership. Russia wants to challenge Western dominance. China wants to become the world's top power. This creates a strategic triangle. Key reality. Russia and China sometimes cooperate, but they are not true allies. USA faces pressure from both sides. Technology war, the new battlefield. Modern rivalry is no longer just about tanks and missiles. Key areas: artificial intelligence, AI, cybersecurity, space technology, quantum computing. USA leads in innovation. Russia focuses on military tech. China competes in both. USA challenge: maintaining technological dominance is getting harder. Economic power struggle. USA, largest economy, historically dominant, strong dollar influence. Russia, smaller economy, heavy reliance on energy exports. Key issue: sanctions versus survival. After the Russia-Ukraine war, USA imposed strict sanctions. Russia adapted by trading with other nations. Result: economic war continues, but no clear winner. NATO versus Russia, ongoing tension. NATO remains a central issue. USA role: protects allies. Russia view: NATO expansion, threat. This is still one of the most dangerous flashpoints in the world. The risk of escalation. Even today, the biggest fear is accidental war. Possible triggers: military miscalculation, cyber attack escalation, political misunderstanding. Because both nations have nuclear weapons, even a small conflict could become global. Internal challenges. USA versus Russia. USA internal issues: political division, economic inequality, war fatigue. Russia internal issues: economic sanctions, limited global allies, dependence on strong leadership like Vladimir Putin. Both countries are powerful, but not invincible. Who is stronger today? The answer is complex. USA advantages: global alliances, strong economy, technological leadership. Russia advantages: military strength, nuclear arsenal, strategic boldness. In simple terms, USA equals long-term power. Russia equals tactical power. Future predictions 2030 to 2050. Scenario 1. Continued Cold War. No direct war. Constant tension. Proxy conflicts continue. Scenario 2. Cooperation returns. Economic needs force cooperation. Reduce tensions. Scenario 3. Major conflict. Unlikely, but possible. Would be devastating globally. Most experts believe Scenario 1 is most likely. The biggest truth: after everything, wars, threats, rivalry, neither side has fully defeated the other. The USA did not destroy Russia. Russia did not defeat the USA. Instead, they shaped each other. Final conclusion. Powerful ending. The story of USA versus Russia is not just history, it's an ongoing reality. It is a story of competition without direct war, power without total victory, fear without total destruction. The United States faced Vietnam Shekest, economic crises, global criticism, rising competitors, but it never collapsed. Russia faced Sukut of the Soviet Union, economic struggles, global isolation, but it never disappeared. Final USA-style closing line. Two giants, standing across history, not destroying each other, but never fully trusting each other. The rivalry continues, the balance remains, and the world watches. As we reach the end of this story, one thing is clear: the rivalry between the United States and Russia is far from over. Two powers, still standing, still watching each other, and the world, still caught in between.